Hello, it's a lovely good morning from here in Delhi, and hope that each one of you are absolutely fine, and we always pray to the Almighty to shower upon you supreme amount of success. So on such note, we start this session, and this session obviously is an intro session with respect to your paper number 12 of CMA Company Accounts and Audit. However, since my area is accounts, I'm going to talk about only the accounting portion. So in this particular session, besides what we call giving you a little bit of what we call input regarding your content, we will also try to share with you some inputs on what we call efforts which you should actually make so that your pathway to the success in the very first attempt becomes feasible. So on such note, we start this particular session. So first of all, we are going to see the contents which we have to study under what we call your company accounts portion, correct? Needless to add that your paper is of 100 marks, and 50 marks of course comprises of company accounts and audit commands 50 marks. As far as accounts portion is concerned, these are the four what we call units which have been given by your institute, but remember your institute hasn't given the marks for a particular unit. In total, accounting paper will be of 50 marks, but how much portion of 50 marks this unit or for that instance third or fourth unit command, that is not given by the institute. Anyway, the point here is that as far as this unit which is related to shares and debenture is concerned, these are the topics which we have to study. Issue of shares, right from the beginning of your accounting journey, you know about the shares. So I need to require to talk about that. As far as rights shares is concerned, this is another topic. What exactly the rights issue is, why a company goes for the rights issue, what exactly would be the accounting pattern, what advantages actually it is going to bring to the company. So these are the questions which we are going to talk at length when we are going to take up this particular chapter. Rights issue we will see later on basically means issuance of shares to the existing shareholders. Whenever a company makes a fresh issue, so instead of going directly to the public, company often gives the preferred rights to the existing shareholder and asks them whether you are interested in subscribing to these shares or not. That is exactly rights issue. Bonus issue basically means issuance of shares to the existing shareholders free of cost. That means a company is giving shares to the existing shareholder and not charging anything from them. Now, of course, this is quite beneficial for the existing shareholders. But at the same time, why the company is delivering the shares free of cost? What are the compelling factors and why a company does so? Is bonus issue going to bring about some what we call advantages? And whenever a company would do the bonus issue, then how the accounting will be taken care of. So these are the questions which we are going to look at into this particular chapter when we are going to pick up. Similarly, there is a small chapter, sweat equity shares. Now, sweat equity shares. Actually, Companies Act of 2013, Section 53 states that shares can't be issued at a discount. But Section 54, which deals with sweat equity shares, states that shares can be issued at a discount, but only to permanent employees and whole-time directors of the company, provided they have given some technical expertise or patents or trademark or intellectual rights to the company. So often the company receives the intellectual rights or some expertise or technology from their permanent employees or from their full-time directors or part-time directors, and against the same, company gives them what we call shares at a discount, that is known as sweat equity shares. Forfeiture of shares, of course, you have done it along with the issue of shares so many times. Now, buyback of shares simply means buying back own shares. My company has issued shares to you, and now after some time I am buying my shares back from you. Indirectly, it means I am redeeming the shares, correct? So why a company goes for the buyback of shares? Number one, is it going to bring any advantages to the company? And if there are advantages, what are those advantages? What exactly is the benefits to the company, and how the accounting pattern will unfold? So these are the questions, important and significant one, which we are going to take up later on when we are going to pick up this particular chapter, needless to add that. Then under the issue and redemption of preference shares and debentures, we have to study the accounting aspects of redemption of preference shares and of course of debenture. You know better than I actually that when a company issues preference shares, generally within a maximum period of 20 years, these shares must be redeemed, and similarly in case of debenture, within a maximum period of 10 years, debenture must be redeemed. As far as redemption of debenture is concerned, you already know a little bit about it. But at the same time, now some latest guidelines have already crept in. So how under those guidelines we have to redeem the debenture, and similarly what will be the accounting aspect with respect to redemption of debenture, because when we are going to redeem the debentures or preference shares, then the legal provisions we have to take care of. So all these things we are going to discuss at great length. And as far as redemption of preference shares is concerned, whenever a company is going to redeem the preference share, we will see later on that our capital base gets what we call altered, and we have to see to it that it remains intact in spite of redemption of preference shares. Underwriting of shares and debentures, needless to add what exactly this chapter is all about. Whenever a company issues shares or debenture of an entity, actually get them underwrite. That means gets a guarantee, as there are some institutes or individual who gives guarantee to the company that we will see to it that all the shares which you are issuing to the public get subscribed. And of course, when they give such guarantee, they are going to charge something known as underwriting commission. So, accounting pattern, legal provisions we are going to discuss under underwriting of shares and debentures. Quite an important chapter. So you have already seen that under issue of shares and debenture there are so many chapters which we have to study. Issue of share capital is one, wherein we are going to take up issue of shares and forfeiture of share. Besides rights issue, we have kept in a separate segment, then bonus issue, then sweat equity shares, and then buyback of share, then redemption of preference share, and then debenture. So many chapters are already there. Then underwriting of shares. Now the next unit is quite formidable. Why it is very formidable and important, not only from the examination point of view, but also to the fact that when later on, as a professional, you are going to enter into the practical arena, knowledge of this particular chapter is going to hold you in a very good state, provided you have a very strong base. Because as per the Companies Act 2013, the companies need to now frame their profit and loss account and balance sheet as per the formats which have been given in Schedule 3. So, how under Schedule 3, Companies Act 129, Section 129 and Companies Act 2013, how a company nowadays would prepare a statement of profit or loss account and balance sheet. That is the core issue, and one need to have a very, very sound knowledge of the same to prepare the accounts as per the formats which have been given. It's quite a bit very important chapter. And cash flow statement should not pose you any difficulty because you are already familiar with this particular chapter, but in the light of AS3 revised, we have to do it, no doubt about that. But at the same time, there are some minor and finer points which you haven't taken care of in your earlier phases of education, which we are going to discuss here at this particular level. So it's quite important. And then there are three main solid, formidable chapters: banking company, electricity company, and insurance company, and a high percentage of question would come from these three topics, needless to add. So that is the reason actually we have covered each and every chapter, as I told you earlier, with maximum number of questions, have given you the supreme and widest possible coverage, and of course we take pride in giving you the in-depth, what we call, analysis of each and every chapter. Accounting for banking companies, here the topics like rebates on bills discounted, performing asset, non-performing asset, provisioning of asset, ECG coverage, TCG coverage, correct? And then preparation of profit or loss account, etc. You will have to study. Similarly, under accounting of electricity company, lots of new provisions and lots of development has already taken place. So you need to know all those things. And similarly, under insurance company, how the accounting is done by an insurance company. Insurance company is also known as insurer, and entire accounting of the insurance company is governed by IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. Accounting of electricity is governed by Electricity Acts, and accounting for banking companies governed by Banking Act, that is Banking Regulation Act 1949. So these are the chapters. You have already seen there are so many chapters. And besides that, you have to do accounting standard AS 11, which deals with changes in foreign exchange rates. Then accounting standard 12, which deals with what we call government grants. Then employee benefits, 15, 16, borrowing cost, 17, segment reporting, 18, related party, and 19, with respect to leases. So these are the topics. These are the contents which you have to study to get, and you have to study hard, no doubt about that, to get a very high percentage of marks. Besides that, you will see, besides the maximum number of questions, correct? All the questions of the module we have already covered, correct? When you will do the chapter, you will see later on all the past years question papers we have covered, and we have covered well and truly we have covered. When I say that mean almost every bit of module we have covered. Number one, all past years question papers we have covered, and we have added every chapter with lots of MCQs. When you will do the first chapter, issue of share capital, over there itself you will find 105 MCQs. Similarly, under this unit, that is when you are going to prepare the financial statements, you will see that we have aided this particular chapter with 78 or 79 MCQs. So lots of MCQs have been also thrown into now each chapter so as to give you a very strong base and to make it very strong. Now, quite obviously, often the student fraternity asks actually, sir, do we need to cover up the module also? Is it compulsory to do the module? So my question is, no, you need not require to do the module since we have covered all the questions of the module, correct? So you need not require to bother about the module. Moreover, in the module, we have seen lots of misprints and unfortunately, lots of amendments which already have taken place haven't yet been incorporated in the module. So sometimes that brings a little bit of confusion. So that is the reason I would like you to avoid it. Simply bank upon our module, which we have given you. Go through our module, our study material, tutorials, and I'm very sure after having done that, you need not require to hunt for any other resource. Number one, once you have completed our tutorials and our module, now your duty is to do at least your 2 mock test paper, 2 revision test papers, and 2 past year papers which are very well available in your institute site. So this is the only responsibility of yours, correct? So that should see to it that you are going to get very good marks. Now, next question, often student fraternity asks us, so what is the exam pattern? Now, exam pattern, earlier when the examination used to be held in an offline mode, I'm talking about offline mode, not about online mode, earlier. So you used to get 5 questions. Out of the 5 questions, first question used to be of compulsory nature, and this question used to be of objective as far as nature is concerned. And even in the objective question, you used to get MCQs, fill in the blanks, true and false question, and this question used to comprise 14 marks. After the first question, there were 4 more questions, and you needed to, in fact, do only 3 questions. And each question used to carry 12 marks. So 3 into 12 will become 36. 36 plus 14 will comprise 50. Now, this is the earlier pattern, that is the offline mode pattern. Under the offline pattern, you used to get 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th question in a subjective manner or descriptive manner, you may call it. That means longer one, whereas as far as question number 1 used to be concerned, it used to be of objective nature. However, but now, the exam pattern for CMA Intermediate 2022, the latest information which we have is that your exam will be now conducted in an online center-based manner. Online center-based manner means you will have to reach the center, but the examination will be conducted through online. Now, what will be the nature? The nature will be, types of question will be objective and descriptive. But what will be the percentage? 60% will be objective and 40% will be descriptive. That is very important. And at the same time, there will be 120 question. There will be 120 question as I have written here. In fact, there will be 120 question and there will be no negative marking. When I say 120 marks, it means 60 for the accounting portion and 60 for the audit portion, correct? Whereas in earlier modes of examination, you used to get, you can say 14, that is question number 1 in an objective manner, while all other question used to be of descriptive nature or subjective nature, you can call it. But now, as I said, as far as your online mode is concerned, you are going to get 60% objective, 40% descriptive. Now, the next question, often the student asks us, sir, if we are going to get most of the question in an objective manner, do we need to stress any extra upon MCQs? You need not require to. See whether you want to attempt descriptive question or MCQs. The only criteria is that how well you have studied the chapter, how at length actually you have gone into it and how insightfully you have gone through the concepts. So if you have done lots of descriptive question, automatically the preparation for MCQs is done. You need not require to bother upon that. But at the same time, in order to erase such doubts and hunches, as I told you, I have provided every chapter with lots of MCQs to equip you better. So this will be our strategy. This will be what we call our methodology, you can say. And then student also asks, in case of doubt, how we are going to get it erased out. I take pride in the fact that I happen to be the largest selling faculty as far as for accounts is concerned, and having more than 3,000 students. But in spite of that, actually I hardly receive any query. But at the same time, in spite of that, you come through any query, want to get it clarified, you can WhatsApp. But whenever you would WhatsApp, please send your name, your phone number, and the name of the site from where you purchased our course. Then we will try to give a message to you. In fact, we feel so, and where we feel that we need to call you, we will call upon you too. So that's the reason why we need your phone number too. Now, last but very important question, sir, where to buy your course from which site? And there are so many sites where your course is available, and different sites are claiming different prices. Now, this is the question I have been facing a lot. So that is the reason through this particular session, I want to pass down this particular message that my courses, this English version courses, are exclusively available with this particular site. Correct? www.cdclasses.com, chandradureja.com. Chandradureja itself happened to be a very prominent faculty for your costing paper and SFM paper, as you know. So these are the points which I wanted to discuss with you in this particular intro session. And in the next session, when we are going to meet, quite obviously we are going to take up the chapter, and of course, whereupon we are going to talk at length regarding the issues with respect to that particular chapter. So on such note, allow me to leave, and at the same time, I wish you a supreme journey with respect to this particular course and with respect to your life. And I always wish from the inside of my heart that each one of you reach the pinnacle of success. So on such note, I finish this particular session.